I'm sweating it out because usually nobody listens to me. It's in the ether, but these guys are like, we know so much more than you do, and we are so successful, and we are so much better at fantasy than everybody, and they are, and they're the hosts, and they're also so freaking entertaining. The number one fantasy football podcast in the business. They've won 4 People's Choice Awards for Sports Podcast of the Year. Please welcome Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright. Hey guys, together known as the Fantasy Footballers, or is it baseballers? Because it's nothing but Diamondbacks talk. Nothing but Diamondbacks talk on all streaming platforms, right guys?
Thank you for having us. Yes, we focus exclusively on baseball now. We've got lifelong baseball fan Jason Moore.
Right.
Lifelong brand new baseball fan.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I mean, we're excited. 22 years since we celebrated a World Series title. I think we're due.
Or just, anything fun. It's been a while for
That
Arizona
is the only
sports.
title Arizona fans have at all. So, I mean, we're pretty excited.
I love that we're talking about baseball. I actually love it because your fans are so unhappy about it. We have so much to get into.
That is right.
Guys, congrats on all the success. It has been so amazing to watch and champion, and I'm just a big fan. But I found a scorpion in my backyard in California yesterday, and so you were the 3. That's why I really have you on the show.
Yeah.
What do I need to know, Arizona?
I saw that, and I was like, this is serious business right here.
Yeah, you get a black light, and you go hunting at night. You find them all and you kill them all. That's the only way to deal with scorpions.
Are we doing like a shovel? Like, are we doing?
I'm doing a spray, a long distance spray.
Okay.
Yeah, it's incredible. They'll kill themselves at that point. They really do. It's wild to watch.
The other option is just completely ignore the problem.
Yeah.
Don't buy a black light. Pretend they're not there.
Okay.
And move forward. But I think you read too many tweets.
Oh, it was. I've
Yeah.
never felt like I walked into the trap of being the little sister of the internet and was like, now somebody told me they're in my toilet roll. And like, and I'm like, we can't
saw
do
that.
this. Yeah, it was
I
not
wish
cool.
I could unhear that.
I like the idea of just like Men in Black neuralizing myself and just like living my life and keep going. I love that. That's what I do when my fantasy teams have a bad performance. I love fantasy football. It's my passion. It's how I got into the business. You know who doesn't love it? And there's a lot of people who don't, but Falcons coach Arthur doesn't give a blank Smith. He's got more beef with our community. Let's take a listen.
Whoever has the hot hand. Again, maybe I'll have to go tell Raves that, hey, Algier got the hot hand. I'm going to give him 15 carries. Maybe that's what I need to do. That's where we're headed. Let's make sure I don't upset anybody on their fantasy team. So maybe I'll yell across the Raves, hey, we're going to give the CP another carry here.
To get everybody's thoughts. Mike Wright, we're going to start with you. And I want your thoughts on this. And is this the worst venom anyone in the NFL has had against fantasy football in the past 5 years?
Yes, but it's the most that I can remember. And to his hot hand, I would say 21 for 59. That's the hot hand. That's 2.8 yards per carry. Like that is not hot. That is an ice cold hand and a guy who is actively harming your team by getting carries. I like Tyler Algier. I like the player. I do think that he's actually good, but it's frustrating that he keeps attacking fantasy football because all we're saying is, those 3 players that your team spent a top 10 draft pick on, why don't you get them the ball? Because good things will probably happen, and it's become so frustrating when like the defense of, they're winning. You're like, well, then take a different player in the top 10. You're telling me that the Falcons. That was exactly the name I was going to mention. You think the Falcons aren't better right now if Jalen Carter's on that defensive line instead, and you just keep giving the ball to Patterson and Algier? Then you can do it to your heart's content, and no one's mad at you.
Jace, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree completely. The problem is, I think sometimes we are selfish as fantasy football managers where it's like, I love when my quarterback throws a pick 6. It's like, great, now he's got to get back on the field and throw more. That's not good for real life football. But the truth is, Bijan's your best player. Like, you're hurting your football team. I went on a rant last week because I was so frustrated watching Falcons drives stop and fail because they keep first downing Tyler Algier for 2 yards. What are you doing? You're actually hurting your team, and it's not a fantasy football take. That's a football take. So it just drives me crazy that they're winning. I hate that they win right now because it's like then he's got that trump card where he's like, yeah, well, we won. I can do whatever I want.
This might be the first head coach who genuinely makes a sideline decision in the face of a fantasy football player. I think
bet he does.
actually, we can't prove it, but I mean,
it's happening.
He's a grumpy guy at the podium, and yeah, it's weird. I mean, we were talking about Jahmyr Gibbs too, who thankfully we've got to see him kind of have the big performance in the blowout last week. But you don't take a player at that high in the draft and not utilize all of their skill sets. It's what we fantasy players talk about all the time. It's frustrating.
This is such a treat to have you guys, and it's a lot of fun. And the podcast, all the work you guys, not even a podcast, you guys are literally all over the place and everywhere. And it's fun because it's really entertaining. It is an easy listen, but the information is top notch. I remember, in the heyday of Good Morning Football, I would be like, oh my gosh, I need to know what's going. If I could get it on 6-speed, I would do it just to get. I'm like, I want to hear about the dogs, guys, but get me the information. Let's go. And I would just eat it up, and it was such an easy listen. So I wanted to get some intel out of you guys for our viewers here. We're gonna do this on a clock style because TV is a little different than
Sure.
we want to get to a lot. With 30 seconds each, and let's start with Andy. And Andy, I don't just follow you on Twitter. I follow everyone on Twitter.
No, you don't. You don't follow this guy.
Really?
But that's all right.
Take a look. I think I do follow you.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yes, I got the follow.
Dreams come true.
Dreams come true. Thank you, Kay. I mean, since Sirius XM days, you say you don't. We know fantasy more than you. You were here before.
Yeah, you don't need us.
You're crazy. Well, you're absolutely crazy. But Jason, I just followed you because I heard that I didn't
it's a big
follow
day.
you. Don't say that. But I do want to start with you with 30 seconds. I mean, obviously, NFL trade deadline's October 31st, and we have fantasy trade lines to deal with. Who is a player? Let's manifest it. Let's put the goodness out there in the second half that you're currently want to campaign someone to trade for. Who you got? Who you like?
Yeah, I think you brought it up on your show a couple days ago, talking about Derrick Henry may be on his way out from Tennessee, and so Tajay Spears is a player that you have to pay attention to. And I don't know if you want to watch the games after Derrick Henry leaves in Tennessee if Ryan Tannehill's not out there, but Spears is an actually talented backup. He's got as many targets as a guy like Joe Mixon this year, and that's playing alongside somebody with the 9th most carries in Derrick Henry. So Tajay Spears is a talented player, so I think you can grab him, throw him on your lineup, and you may get a second half star.
I like it. Let's go, Jason Moore. Put somebody on the map. Who do I need to trade for?
Trade for Marquise Hollywood Brown. Kyler's coming back. Kyler's practicing in full. He's without a sleeve on his knee. This offense is going to take a massive step forward. While you're trading for Hollywood Brown, you're going to get a couple good weeks, and then he's going to go to the moon. And in the meantime, pick up Kyler if he's out on waivers. Prepare, because when he gets back, people are like, he's not going to be good. He's going to be good, and he's not going to be good later. Week 1, he's back. He's going to be good for fantasy football.
And with 10 seconds to go, we'll see those last 10 seconds for Mike. Go for it.
I'm going to stand for my guy, Dak Prescott. Look, it's tough in the streets for the Dak truthers and the Dak supporters lately. But here's what's going on. It's been a really wacky season for the Dallas Cowboys. Blowouts on both sides of the ball. You got to expect that will balance out eventually. And then the most important thing for quarterbacks, aside from, super talent, but it's the matchups. And the matchups coming up for Dak, he has the 3rd best schedule for quarterbacks, 3rd best for wide receivers, 10th best for tight ends. Meanwhile, 5th worst for running backs. So it's shaping up that Dak Prescott, who's coming off of a very great game, his best game of the season, I think that he's about to turn it on. Wow.
Trusting Dak Prescott. Fantasy footballers are here. You guys also have a comedy podcast. It's called the Spitballers Podcast. And every week you guys have so much fun. There's an irreverent fantasy draft. I love it. But we thought we'd put our own spin on the draft game. And we're going to have you each draft one or the other. There's only 3 of you, so I'm going to ask each of you a question, and that person has to draft one of the other footballers. We're going to call it Drafting the Footballers right here. Real generic segment animation. All right. Andy, if you scored 2 tickets to see Taylor Swift, or no, not to see her, to sit with her in the box at Arrowhead for a Chiefs game, which footballer are you drafting first overall to come along?
I'll take Mike with me.
Yeah.
I'll take Mike with me. I think I just think the party atmosphere. Mike is, he puts on a performance for the camera. The sideline cameras are going up there every 30 seconds. I think Michael.
I'll know where they are.
You'll know where they're at.
Jason, are you not fun?
No, I am even more fun, but I don't have a neck tattoo, so the cameras, it just doesn't work quite the same. I would have drafted Mike over myself.
You're like, you both go. I have the tickets, you two go. I don't want to go. Mike, if you're stuck in an elevator at 7 a.m. on, let's say like 7 a.m. West Coast Sunday morning, which footballer are you choosing to set your fantasy lineup? Who do you trust?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's such a mean question to ask me. I'll go with Andy.
Wow.
I think we have the most overlapping agreements. It's weird. We play the game a lot different, like our strategies, but at the end of the day, I know that if my lineup is not ready at that moment, Andy's going to go fire out about 150 different trade options around the league, and he's going to make sure that we buy a win that week.
Jason, you got to get a neck tat. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's what I learned today. I need to get a neck tat, even though I'm the reigning champion. It's Andy's setting the lineup over
I
here.
thought she was going to say.
That's why they're just, they're jealous of the championship. That's what it is.
Yeah. I need to. I should have worn my ring today. He forgot.
Jason, which of these two footballers, these tatted up footballers, are you drafting as your biggest fantasy competition for this year?
Oh, that's an easy Andy, for sure. It's not because he's better than Mike. It's because he's in my division in our main league.
Oh.
He is my nemesis, and I mean this with like true sincerity. I hate him when it comes to fantasy football. I hate his guts. I want his team to
You literally
lose.
said you wanted me to get in a traffic accident today because of last night's Thursday night football performance.
What
I
happened?
hate you so much. He had Josh Allen, and he had Mike Evans who got that touchdown, and I had Gabe Davis on my bench.
Oh, you bench Gabe
It was a cold, dark night for Jason.
Yeah.
At least you don't have a scorpion like glowing in
Yeah.
your backyard.
Oh, no, we have those too.
Yeah, that I know. Andy, for a $1 million prize, blindside hit from Myles Garrett, can't fumble.
Oh.
Which of these two are you drafting?
Jason Moore.
Yes.
Jason
Thank
Moore.
you.
We have a history of Mike is rejoicing flag football success together in the past. Jason could take a hit.
Yeah, I'm a beef boy. So if one of us is gonna take the hit, it's gonna be the 260-pound guy. I'll take it on.
Oh man.
This is so fun. My two producers are crying. Literally, let's show that they're literally.
Oh, boy.
I mean, buxed out Eric is literally crying.
I'm loving this.
And Marissa's a Philly fan. You're
Take the
loving.
beef boy.
They were
Yeah.
just talking well about Dak Prescott, but you're happy.
Hey, the comedy is comedy. I'm loving this.
Comedy.
That's right.
I'm loving this content.
It's so fun. Okay, let's do one more here. I'm having a good time with this. Okay, Mike, you all live in the same neighborhood. You guys talk about it a lot, and it's amazing. Who's most likely to have a secret doomsday bunker somewhere in their backyard?
That's a producer.
Yeah, that's Al Borland, our producer. He is when anything hits the fan, we say we need I need a man to come and help me out. And I don't call these guys. We all
We
call
got a
him-
man back there.
We all call the producer. Like I have FaceTimed him through so many home renovation
Like
projects.
what?
Oh, like my shower, like
I would say real basic stuff.
yeah, just like
How do I turn my shower off? I can't. It's
well, when your shower cartridge goes bad, you can't turn it off. And I'm like, Jeremy, save me. And he's like, this is exactly what you have to do. And then I'm like scribbling it all down as fast as I can. So it's not a footballer, but he works here, so I'm counting him.
No, I mean, yeah, it's like I have this piece of bread and this toaster. What do I do, Albor? He should be
Yes.
giving me the scorpion advice, and we all love that, of course. Now listen, Taylor
He'll be
Swift.
there in 20 minutes.
Oh, great. Taylor Swift has her Swifties, right? And we've got, I'm trying to think, like ICP has the Juggalos. There's all that. Like, everyone has their community. Sports fans are a special breed altogether. I wanted to give you guys just a second. I know you talk about it's sort of just baked into what the show is. What makes the Foot Clan so special and so unique?
I think what makes them special and unique is that they're good people. Like and there's a lot of just garbage people out there.
Phillies fans.
Right, Phillies fans or Eagles fans or
76ers fans.
76ers
Yeah.
fans.
All right.
No.
They're nicer than we are. I'll tell you that.
We're the worst. No, the Foot Clan is about community, camaraderie. We have this shared hobby, and when they find our show, they like us because they enjoy having a good time while getting good content. And so I think that there's like a natural marriage of just being a regular person. You know, they're not looking to scrape thousands of dollars off the bottom of, you know, their bookie. They're just wanting to have a lot of fun, be a good family person, and we're all very like-minded in that, and so we all get along. I think
only one team wins. I mean, we're trying to have a good time throughout the whole year. And that's what it's always been about for us, is the community, of having fun and enjoying one another and the league and the process, and commiserating on every terrible Thursday night.
They're always terrible.
Do you guys ever get how authentic are these, not fights, but like what happened last night? Like it's real. Like you guys are really feeling that, and then you have to go and do a show. But I feel like you bring a lot of, obviously, levity, but authenticity. Like you bring that onto the podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast started with these two guys making a podcast just for our league of 12 people. It couldn't be more authentic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, you have two successful podcasts, right? We just talked about both. You have a loyal Foot Clan following who you guys love, and I can tell have a big appreciation for. What's next for the footballers?
What's next, Mike?
Well, I mean, hopefully,
baseball.
Hopefully, no. I mean, short term, hopefully some championships. Long term, who knows? You know, videos looking pretty good.
Yeah.
People are talking. People have alt casts. I'll just throw that out into the universe.
Yeah, just throw it out there. We'll hang out with you on Thursday night.
Yeah. We'll have you on our Altcast.
Whoa. Very interesting. You guys crush it on YouTube. YouTube's doing amazing things with what they got going on with the ticket. Interesting. Highest bidder. These guys are amazing. Mike, Jason, Andy, I'm so glad, and I appreciate you guys like just taking the time. Truly, just watching you guys do what you've done for so long, so consistently. It's fun, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of fun. So I'm super grateful for the time, for the intel, the info, of course. And listen, people out there, if you want to win your fantasy league, you already know. Subscribe to the Fantasy Footballers, the podcast. It's streaming everywhere, all platforms. You can join the Foot Clan on Patreon. You can check out their weekly fantasy football rankings over at thefantasyfootballers.com. Andy, Jason, Mike, thank you guys.
Thank you. We love you.
Thank you.
Okay, and Al, 20 minutes. I'll see you at the crib in Brentwood. I'll see you. We'll have to figure that out. My goodness. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest Up and Adams content right on YouTube.